we need to talk about Newcastle United's defence, and in particular Malick Thiaw, who they signed from AC Milan. What a player and what a signing. But before I do get into all of that, if you are new here, if you do enjoy the video, of course, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It's always greatly appreciated. The support has been unreal recently, so thank you very much. But let's just dive into it and talk about Malick Thiaw, because I think he went a bit under the radar in the sense that there wasn't much coverage about his move from AC Milan to Newcastle United. And I feel like if the summer wasn't completely dominated by the Isak saga and the other deals that was going on, you'd probably notice that deal as being such a steal, because Malick Thiaw, he's one of those players who's always been really rated as a wonder kid. In Germany, when he was at Schalke, obviously, then he made the move to AC Milan. He's always been renowned as a proper good centre-half. I hate to bore you with this youth side of sort of analysis, but he was always in the games, you know, FIFA, all those games, as a player that had a high potential, and everyone sort of knew this. But that sort of move to AC Milan, I don't know what happened. It just sort of lost a bit of coverage in terms of how he was doing. It wasn't like he was doing horrible. It wasn't like he was doing exceptional things, but it just was kind of some player who just stopped being noticed. But recently, I mean, with his form at Newcastle United, is putting everybody back on the watch list towards him about how good of a player in centre-half he is. He has all of the traits that you need in a modern-day centre-half. When you think about the Premier League, when you think about a modern-day centre-half, you think, can you deal with the intensity and the speed of play? Can you play between the lines on the ball? Can you find your midfielders? Can you find your wide players? Can you defend your box really well? Do you know the timing and the challenge? And I look at Malick Thiaw and how he's done in the Premier League so far, and I'm just going tick, 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 because he's just doing everything that is sort of right for a defender. He's not being too jumpy. He's timing when he can make sort of interceptions in the duels as well. Is exactly what you want to be seeing. And one thing I've noticed, which goes quite under the radar, is how Eddie Howe genuinely improves centre halves. When you're thinking about Newcastle's best season, the one where they were getting to the Champions League, their defence was exceptional. The back two, the way that they're playing, you know, Dan Burn, Shaw, you know, these players were exceptional in holding down the fort, and it allowed for their attacking fluidity. And I feel like if you want a really effective Eddie Howe side, keep the defense really strong. You can trust your attack to do the business. I think Newcastle United are such a luxurious position whereby if they get that defense right, they have the amount of quality in the attacking areas to go out and win most games. And that is generally so important, especially with the competitive nature of the Premier League. And it's signings like Malick Thiaw which will keep on allowing Newcastle United to have a strong defense. Because let's not lie, Dan Bird and Shaw, they're getting on. They're getting older. It's becoming increasingly difficult for them to play the volume of games that is required with how much football that Newcastle United have to play in a season. They've got Champions League, they've got Carabao Cup, they've got FA Cup. I'm sure they want to go in and win those domestic competitions. So by having someone like Malick Thiaw to come in, you're having somebody who can contribute in the present, but also somebody who can contribute going forward in the future. And I'm sure if I ask you Newcastle United fans, would you expected Malick Thiaw to come in and take the position by storm to the point where you're thinking, Shaw, Burn, you know, I don't think they can get in ahead of this kid. And I think that's such a good place to be in when you're looking at a player and you're being like, I don't think our best defenders over the past couple of years will be able to shake you out of the position you're holding right now. I'm not even just speaking about Malick Thiaw, but even Sven Botman. We've always known how good he is, but when he plays, you're almost reminded, oh yeah, he's quality. He's got what is required to be a top centre half. Then you pair him with someone like Malick Thiaw, who's only 23 years old, who only cost around 35 million from AC Milan, which is incredible. Then you're sort of looking at things and being like, Newcastle United have got a team, a defence, a backbone, which for the future looks incredible, but is contributing in the present. And this is where I talk about the whole defensive unit, because you're looking at left back, and it's such a shame that Hall has been quite injured over the course of the last 2 seasons, but he's a phenomenal player. Somebody who I expect to take storm to the left back role for England, the national team. He's just been injured at the wrong times to really get into that squad. But I feel like he's going to contribute big things for England and possibly be in for the World Cup if he can stay fit. I genuinely believe he's one of the better options for the left back position. Then you're looking at Livramento, right back as well. He's phenomenal. I think it's him versus Reece James really for that right back position. I know how good Trent is, but Livramento for me, going backwards, going forward, he contributes so much. He can also play left back, but again, both those players very young. Then Sven Botman, 25, 26, 20, around that. I'm not too sure about his specific age, but he's very young as well. Somebody who's entering those peak, really nice years for a centre half. Then you've got Malick Thiaw as well, 24, 25, around that age too. So you've got a proper back four, and then Nick Pope is always going to contribute. He's always going to be a key cog towards Newcastle United. And even if he is somebody that you want to move on, you've got the option to get the Ramsdales in. I know he's only on loan, but you have the opportunity to play him in goal, and he's also quite young for a goalkeeper too. I think Trafford would have been the perfect guy for it, but it isn't sort of something to lose sleep over, because when you're looking at the grand scheme of things, the recruitment in the defensive line for Newcastle United over the past 3 or 4 years has been really, really impressive. They know how to pick out the right players, and it's not just players in the English academies, ones in which you look at and be like, you're so close to reaching that next level. But it's also abroad, the abroad market for defenders. They're going for the right players. And I'm just so excited for Malick Thiaw. He genuinely looks like a Rolls Royce. I saw him, I remember, against Arsenal, the way he was physically dealing with Gyökeres, 1v1 duels. He relies on so much of his ability that you can't help but be impressed by him. Like, he's really ready for any sort of centre forward that you throw at him. You put a physical one up against him, he's ready for that battle. You put one that wants to run in behind, he has the pace to get back as well. It's genuinely very impressive. And I've actually got, if I can quickly get it up on my phone, a graphic talking about Newcastle United's defence and the statistics and how good they've been. And here it is, in fact, talking about Newcastle United's defence in terms of the XG. According to XG Philosophy on Twitter, Arsenal have conceded the least XG with 4.67. Then you've got Newcastle with 4.89. So they're going toe-to-toe with my team, Arsenal, for the best defence in terms of not letting the opposition have high-quality chances. I know XG is quite boring, but Newcastle United don't allow for the opposition to have quality shots on goal, and that is huge. If that's your underlying metric, it is so positive. Eddie Howe is coaching a very, very good defense. You're even thinking about the level of opposition that they've played. Liverpool, Arsenal, really good. Two of the best teams in the Premier League, first and second, teams that can go on to win those competitions in the Champions League, and they still have the second best defense, which just goes to show how good of a job Eddie Howe has been doing for Newcastle United. We can't forget they went away to Villa. They've had really tough games. They've got Brighton next, which is going to be a really tough game. So it's not like Newcastle have had the easiest starts to the season, but they're still having really good underlying metrics. And it doesn't even stop there. In terms of shots conceded per game and XG conceded per shot in the Premier League, Newcastle United have the best. Better than Arsenal, better than Liverpool, better than Bournemouth, better than everyone. Newcastle United have the best when it comes to XG conceded per shot and shots conceded per game. It's genuinely so impressive. They literally don't allow the opposition to have many shots on goal, and even if they do get a shot on goal, it's normally a moment of brilliance or maybe a mishap from the defense, a little mistake. It's genuinely insane. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on Newcastle United's defense and Malick Thiaw. I think Newcastle United are having a very, very quietly but effective season when we're talking about their defense, and with their attack as well, is starting to click.